Cannon, I know it's no surprise to you and a lot of folks the fact that Kellen Moore did come out and name the starting quarterback for the Black and Gold, and we're riding with the Rattler, Spencer Rattler, getting the nod.
Yeah, I thought that's the direction they would go with, simply because, I mean, Spencer Rattler has played NFL games, and there's a lot of questions with this team right now. And I think if they can end up playing both of them, depending on what occurs. Now, Spencer Rattler's the man until he's not the man. What I mean by that, he's got an opportunity to play, but you got to win. And it's not going to be like, oh, you had a bad half or a bad game, we're going to replace you, for the next game. You might have to have a bad month, and then you go in a different direction. But I think they'd much rather, if they're both going to play, they'd much rather go with Spencer Rattler, then bring in Tyler Shuck, or the other way around, and Tyler Shuck's not necessarily getting it done, and then going to Spencer Rattler. I kind of thought that way even after OTA's minicamp and the training camp, and it was close. It wasn't like, Spencer Rattler was way better than Shuck, or if Shuck would have been named the starter. No, it was a pretty even battle overall when you look at they both made plays in the game and everything.
Looking at Tyler Shuck, his agent took to social media and said, quote, I like the plan, and has two hands shaking. So it at least seems that both parties are okay. You don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt. I know we're all big boys now, but Tyler Shuck's agent tweeting out he likes the plan for the quarterback position right now with the Saints.
Well, as a quarterback, when you do get an opportunity, and I don't care who it is, whether it's Shedeur Sanders or whether it's Dylan Gabriel. You look at Cleveland. Okay. Look at Flacco. Flacco's 40 years old. He ain't the future. But the future's now for the Browns, and that's who the guy. But what you have to do as a quarterback, what Tyler Shuck has to do, is that prepare like you're playing even though you're not playing. And who knows, Spencer Rattler gets injured, you're in the game, and you got to be up to speed. So you got to be a pro, and you got to study and how you prepare. So you got to prepare each week, and you don't get discouraged. That even though you're not playing, you got to prepare like you're playing, and you got to be a pro. And that could be anyone that's kind of disappointed. I was fighting for the job. I thought I had a great chance, and that's why I even bring up like the Browns, because Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Man, you can't go chill out now. You got to try and get better and impress the coaches. You might be running the scout team, and even with Tyler Shuck, you're running the scout team. Well, lead the players around you and be on point and try and get better and better, because you're going to get an opportunity. He's going to get an opportunity. You just got to be ready for the opportunity to take advantage of it.
Bobby, before we let you run, I wanted to ask you about the offensive line depth. We've seen all these injuries throughout the preseason and early on. Obviously, even before the preseason started, Saldiveri goes down. He goes on the IR for the year. Landon Young gets hurt in the final preseason game. He's out for the year. Will Clapp gets hurt in the first preseason game. He's out for the year. And just get absolutely decimated. And that's not even mentioning the injury to like Trevor Penning. Now, he's only going to be out for a shorter period of time. It's not as severe as some of those other injuries. But I was looking at it, and obviously the Saints made the trade to bring in Luke Fortner, who's a backup center. They made the trade today as well with Dallas to bring in Awesome Richards, who's now your backup tackle because you just didn't have one after Landon Young got injured. And then Torricelli Simpkins making the final 53-man roster. I think that's a real fun story because the UDFA from South Carolina really kind of made a name for himself throughout the preseason. After Clapp got injured, he comes into that Chargers game, plays all the snaps. He got praise from the coaching staff. And it just feels like the depth behind, the front five that the Saints have is kind of patchwork because of how many injuries you suffered early on. But the Saints made some moves to make sure that they at least had some bodies behind that starting five.
Oh, no, without a doubt, Charlie. Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm glad you brought that up. No, that was the best feel-good story of Camp Simpkins. If you look how they impressed, undrafted free agent, and look all the snaps he played. He was really like playing full games. In preseason you might get like 2.5 quarters, but you look at the Chargers. When Will Clapp went down, he basically played the whole game. So that's a great feel-good story in Simpkins. And yeah, you had to get a swing tackle. I think with Landon Young going down, we're just gonna have to have luck with injuries with the offensive line, and when you think about it, even before we had any injuries, we were like, come on, they got to play great. They have to play a lot better than they've been playing. Alvin Kamara, I always say this, come on, he has a lot left in the tank, but you got to open up holes for him and give him an opportunity to get going. And then no matter who's the quarterback, they have to be able to block, and whether it's pass protecting or run blocking. It'll be interesting to see because he was outstanding. I think we read this at Pro Football Focus. Kelvin Banks was number one tackle, graded pass protection, but not so much run blocking. So that's something that he can work on. So, but I think if we get off to a slow start, that being the Saints, I think because the offensive line is getting their butt kicked, so they need to be challenged. And I think if the offensive line plays well, because I'm confident our D line will. If our offensive line plays well, we have a fighting chance. That's what I truly believe. And if we do have a lot of adversity, I just think right now the team would rather have Spencer Rattler in there to handle the adversity than Tyler Shuck. I was just saying this from a mental standpoint. Because when you look at Spencer Rattler, come on, he's already hadn't won an NFL game. He's 0-6, and he's just trying to get a win. So I think to him, he can handle that adversity and just keep fighting, and that's why I think it was a better, route to take to go with him. But again, Spencer Rattler's going to need the offensive line to help him out, and so will the running game. And our receivers can't have all these like 3 or 4 drop passes in the game, make contested catches, which, you have the ability, but you got to actually do it in the game. So there's a lot of things that have to come together, and it's going to be a challenge. You might say, like, oh, I'm glad we played in the Cardinals and instead of the Bills or the Eagles the first game, or, something like that, the strength of schedule and all that. But the Cardinals play hard, and their D-line is going to get after our O-line, and you're going to see stuff that nobody game planned in preseason. You're going to see Spencer Rattler knows this. That's one thing also compared to Shuck. I mean, he's still seen a little more game speed, regular season, how you turn it up. And they're going to dial up some blitzes trying to get after him and pardon the pun, but trying to rattle Spencer Rattler. and get him like, oh, I don't know where they're coming from. So there's a lot of things that have to come into play for the Saints.